Assalamu alaikum and good morning everyone. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great day today. As the title suggests, today we will be talking about colors. So it's the story of colors. We see colors everywhere and in everything. I mean, be it flowers, clothes, toy, trees, flowers, dress, cars, buildings, everywhere. But what really are colors? Before we come to explaining, discussing what colors are, did you know that colors are not actually in the things around us? Colors are a property of light and light only. So, let me elaborate uh, so that you understand what I mean by this. Uh, we all know that light travels in waves, like waves on water. These waves can be short or long. The length of these waves is called a wavelength. Simple. So, light comes in a continuous range of wavelengths, and our eyes see different parts of that range as different colors. In other words, colors are what we perceive as an effect of light rays of different wavelengths. This range of wavelengths is called the spectrum. You've seen it in the rainbow, right? So, just to re recap or remind, there are 7 colors in the rainbow, and in this sequence they are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. I memorized them as Vibgyor. This is how I remember what the colors are and what their sequence is. Or one other way that you can memorize colors of rainbow, if we go from the other side, from the side of the red, it's Roy G. Biv as a name, where we say G is a middle initial. So Roy G. Biv would be a way to for you to remember the colors of the rainbow and their sequence. But this is a bit tricky. Uh, you might already be aware that the famous scientist Isaac Newton was the one who discovered this spectrum of light, and he was the first to explain the effect of different wavelengths as colors. But specifically, if you see the spectrum, you'll probably see more clearly 6 colors would come more obvious. But Isaac Newton, as you might know, was a very religious person, and uh, he believed that the number 7 had some great spiritual and religious meaning. So he did not like that he could see only 6 colors, so he inserted indigo in between blue and violet just to make the number 7. Uh, most scientists believe that indigo is just a transitional shade between violet and blue. It's not really a specific color, but we all go by what the original definition as given by Isaac Newton is. Find it interesting? I found it very interesting when I found out about it. Okay, so let's continue. Imagine an experiment that we had a light source with a wavelength modulator, right? If you start it on a high wavelength, it will produce red light, right? As you go on decreasing the wavelength, you will see that the output slowly transitions from shades of red to shades of orange to shades of yellow and so on. And please remember, these are not specific wavelength. It will be slowly transitioning from one to the other. So these 6 or 7 colors in the rainbow are the natural base colors. But I mean, we see so many more colors. When we see things, we are not limited by just 6 or 7 colors. We see infinitely more colors and shades in our everyday life. How is that? Actually, the colors blend smoothly into each other. There are millions, rather unlimited shades in between. Meaning when lights of multiple colors and different or multiple shades are mixed, we perceive them as different colors or different shades. Is that clear? I hope it is. So that makes it interesting. I mean, you can understand various shades of purple and pink and brown and things like that as mix of colors. But what about white and black? We sometimes see them as very fundamental colors. How do we see those colors? So, the white light has all the colors mixed together. So, when we see white light, it means it has colors of the whole spectrum. So, we perceive when when light of all colors come to us, we see it as white. Black is, of course, the opposite. When there is no light, we see as black. So when no light comes to us, we see these things as black. Also, you must also know that sunlight is white, right? So sunlight looks white because it contains all the colors. So the light that reaches us from sun, it contains all the colors. A prism can show them. You might have already seen it. If not, look at the picture here. It would become obvious that when white light comes, it contains all uh, the color of the whole spectrum is in there. So up till now we have been discussing the color of light, and if you remember in the beginning I mentioned that only light has colors. But that's not our experience. I mean, everything that we see around us, we see them in color, multicolored as well. Why? So that's the key question here. Let's take an example. Let's say you had a green bag. So why does this bag look green? Because when light strikes it, it reflects the green light and it absorbs all the rest. So when this green light reflecting from the bag reaches us, we perceive the bag as green. That is how we see color in everything. It depends on the light that gets reflected from these objects, what is the color of that light, and that's what we see as that object's color. Right? So a white shirt looks white because it reflects all colors. It reflects light of all colors. A black shirt looks black because it absorbs them all. And this is the reason why white clothes are generally cooler and more appropriate for summer, because it reflects all light and it absorbs very little. So they are generally cooler. And on the other hand, black clothes are warmer and more suited for winter because they absorb all light and they reflect very little. Simple. But why do different material absorb and reflect different colors? Well, it depends on the atomic or the molecular structure of the material they're made of. Each atom and or molecule, depending on its composition, has the capacity to absorb some light and reflect others. So that's why different things, we see different things as having different colors. So let's try a cool experiment just to hone in on the idea that things don't have colors, is the light which has color. So consider that you've got a red soda can, right? And it has something written on it in white. So the can is red and the matter written is in white. When I'm saying red and white, it means that I'm talking about when we are looking at it in normal white light that we have in our homes. What happens if we turn off the white light and we turn on the blue light? What's going to happen? Just think for a moment. The red part will absorb the blue light, because red part means it's that part absorbs all the colors and only reflects red, right? This is why we are seeing it as red. But when blue light strikes it, it will absorb it, since it absorbs blue, and there is nothing to reflect back. So what will we see? We will see it as black. Okay, since there is nothing getting reflecting off of it, so we will see that the can is black. And what will happen to the white wording on it? Well, it's white, which means that it reflects back all light. What it's getting is blue, and that's what is going to reflect back. So we will it would seem to us that what's written is in blue color. So this red and white can in blue light will look to us as black and blue can. The rest of the can is blue and the wording is the rest of the can is black and the wording is blue. What happens if we turn off the blue light and we turn on a red light? What happens to the can? The red part will reflect it. As red part reflects red light, it's going to reflect, so there will probably be no change in the red part of the can. But what happens to the white part? It reflects all colors. It's getting red, it will reflect red. So now the whole can will look red, and it will be sort of like there is nothing written in it at all. It's all a red can. Understood? So this experiment, if you can do it, will prove what I said in the beginning, that nothing has color except light. Hope you found the discussion interesting. Just to recap, colors come from light, and how objects reflect or absorbs it is how our eyes and our brain make sense of it. And please remember that in this video we only spoke about the visible spectrum of light. There is more to it, but maybe some other time. Thank you for watching. Hope you found it interesting. Have a nice day, and Allah Hafiz.